Hiya YouTubers, I am JabeerIni and I'll show you today how to brew a beautiful beer at home. As you have seen in the title, well actually there's two things that you have seen in the title. The first thing is that this is a season finale episode, but we'll get into those details at the end of this video. The second thing is that today we'll be brewing a clone of Broughton's 6.2 IPA. This is a beer I love to drink any time of the year, since it's not low in alcohol, because as you can see 6.2 in the name of this beer actually comes from the ABV, which is 6.2. So since it's not low in alcohol, it is good even in winter. And since it's amazingly hoppy and those hops are predominantly citrus, it is also good for the hot summer days. As I said in the previous episode, I considered this IPA the best Scottish IPA until I tried BrewDog's Punk IPA. However, I reflected and actually these two IPAs belong to different categories. Punk IPA, the one from BrewDog, is an American IPA, and this one, well, it's a hybrid. And I'll tell you why. Even if 3 of the 4 hop varieties in this beer are American, the malt bill is totally British. And all this long and boring explanation is just to tell you that I still consider this is the best hybrid Scottish IPA. If you have tried it, you'll probably agree with me. If you haven't, well, let's open it. Too bad that you won't be able to taste it, but I'll give you my honest opinion as usual. So there we have it. It's got a thumb head for the head lovers. I love everything about this beer, but there are obviously some main characteristics I like. The first one is the color. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's an orangey color, I would say. It's between an amber and orange. If I use my cell phone, you can see it better, probably. Especially on the top of the glass, you can see the orange color I'm referring to. It's very lightly carbonated. It's not a fizzy beer at all. And it's not entirely clear. I can see through the glass, but it's not crystal clear. This is one thing I particularly like. Regarding the aroma, the first thing you notice is cascade. I suspect, even if they tell you in the label, they tell you the malt and the hops they use, obviously they don't tell you the proportions or the order for the addition of hops, but I highly suspect that this was dry hopped with cascade. And this is what I'll do. Behind that cascade predominant aroma, there is something else. And I suspect it's a mixture of Chinook and Pacific Jade. Now, I'm not an expert, but I'm getting familiar with those aromas and those flavors. Let's dive in. It's pure gold. It's, as I said, the best hybrid Scottish IPA. The first thing you notice, in a pleasant way, is the bitterness. This is the first thing that attacks. And then there is a very fruity, especially citrus flavor. The malt, I would say it's in a second place because it's loaded. It's very hoppy. It's extremely hoppy. However, it's not because of the taste that you can tell that the malt is there, but because of the body. It's a very thick beer. Obviously, the use of crystal is to get this color. I would say it's a prudent use of crystal, and I hope I'm not wrong with the amount I've chosen for this one. And there's a wee flavor to toffee, but at the very back end, almost unperceivable. But those tiny details are what make this beer a great beer. So far, this will be my hardest brew, and this is why I've decided to leave it for the season finale. So, without further ado, let's get cloning this one. Let's get brewing. And here we are in the kitchen with this lovely IPA. I promise not to forget the good habit of brewing with a home brew. So let's go and see the ingredients we'll be using. So first off, as usual, 5 liters of water in this container, which we'll be using as a fermenter. 200 grams of Maris Otter, 400 grams of Golden Promise. As a specialty grain, we'll be using 25 grams of crystal. Now, not a grain, but an extract. 370 grams of barley malt extract. Another extract. This is 50 grams of light dry malt extract, which I used to prepare this starter. Now the hops. Since there are many hop additions in this one, I'll walk you through once I have measured them, but at least I'll present them to you. We'll be using Columbus for bittering, Chinook for flavor, Pacific Jade for flavor and aroma, and finally Amarillo for aroma. Now, apart from that, we'll be using these last three for dry hopping. As usual, we'll be using a quarter of a tablet of Protafloc, and last but not least, our yeast. You'll see I'm presenting this again to you, but hey, this is the only way I can show you both the dry malt extract and the yeast. This is the yeast that I harvested from the double IPA, which was a Mangrove Jack's. This is the best yeast I have ever used. I harvested, and I'm hoping that it works just as well for this IPA. And that's it, so let's get it on! So first, as usual, let's pour the whole content of this container, and let's get it to 66 degrees. In the meantime, let's measure our grains and hops. And here we have them. So this is the easy part. This is our grains in the proportions I commented, and here we have our bad boys. So let me walk you through them. This is 5 grams of Columbus to be added at the beginning of the boil. This is 3 grams of Columbus to be added at 30 minutes before the end of the boil. 3 grams of Chinook, 20 minutes before the end of the boil. 3 grams of Chinook, 15 minutes before the end of the boil. 4 grams of Pacific Jade, 15 minutes before the end of the boil. 4 grams of Pacific Jade, 5 minutes before the end of the boil. And finally, 5 grams of Amarillo, 5 minutes before the end of the boil. Now, as I commented, there will be a dry hopping addition of 2 grams each of Pacific Jade, Amarillo, and Chinook. And here's a little secret I want to share with you. For the double IPA, I designed the recipe using some tools. Brewer's Friend Calculator is a very good software for planning your beers, but this one, that was too much work. So what I did was I opened a bottle, I drank it, and then I started imagining how it is composed, hop-wise. For the grains and extracts, I did use Brewer's Friend software because I wanted to be sure of the ABV. I didn't want to miss the target too much, but for the hops, it's all my creativity. So let's hope I'm not too far away from that. Alright, so our water is now at 66 degrees. That's the temperature that we need to start the mash. So, in they go, and this mash is a 60-minute mash. One thing that I always do, and I have forgotten to record, is that I don't just leave those grains mashing in there for 60 minutes. What I do is called doughing the mash. So this is what I do. I regularly stir them just to make sure that most of the starches actually convert to sugar. This is what we need to ensure maximum efficiency. So I'll be back for the sparge. Cheers! Alright, so our mash is over. Look at the color of that wort. It's lovely and beautiful. And it's time for the sparge. But also, to save time, I'm turning this to maximum power to get it to a boil as soon as possible so that we can start with the hop additions. So now I'll be pouring very gently boiling water. This is a little less than 2 liters of boiling water. And as I always mention, the key here is to be very patient, because it really pays. If you sparge correctly and patiently, you get that maximum efficiency we're all looking for, and which translates in a beer with a better body and of course a higher ABV. So I'll be doing this, and I'll be back once we have a running boil for the first hop addition. I'll be back. Cheers! And here we have the running boil that we needed for the first hop addition. So this is 5 grams of Columbus. Look at that color, it's lovely. And the aroma, well, you're gonna think I always say the same, but yes, I truly smell the same. It smells amazing. This is gonna be a beautiful beer. So I'll be back for the second hop addition, which is in 30 minutes. Cheers! Alright, so 30 minutes before the end of the boil, time to add our 3 grams of Columbus, and in they go. So far, things are looking really good. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Cheers! Alright, last 20 minutes of the boil, time to add our 3 grams of Chinook and also the liquid malt extract. It's always a good idea to submerge this jar in hot water because it's very sticky and otherwise it's very hard to get it out of the jar. Now some people may add boiling water to this, but I rather just using some boiling wort because I love the risk. It's just because it's easier, I think. And you see in 2 or 3 times it's already clean. So I'll see you in 5 minutes. Cheers! Okay, last 15 minutes of the boil. Time to add a quarter of a tablet of Protafloc, 3 grams of Chinook, and also 4 grams of Pacific Jade. So let's stir this, and I'll be back in 10 minutes, which will be the last 5 minutes of the boil. See you in a few. Alright, last 5 minutes of the boil. Time to add our 2 last hop, well, boiling hop additions. 4 grams of Pacific Jade and 5 grams of Amarillo. And in they go. I don't know how close this will be to this, but one thing I know for sure is that this is going to be a great IPA. I'll be back in 5 minutes for the cool down. And here's the magic sound we were waiting to hear. It's time to turn this off and cool it down. Follow me. So here we are. As usual, I filled the sink with water, just regular water, but here in Scotland it's pretty cold, even if it's summer now. So by stirring this constantly for less than 5 minutes, we'll get this wort from 100 degrees to less than 26. Well, actually 26, 25 will do the trick. That's the temperature we're looking for. So I'll be back once we have it. So as I was telling you, less than 5 minutes, and here we are, 25.4. It's actually less than we needed. 26, 27 would have done the trick. So it's time to strain out those hops. Let's go. Look at that massive amount of hops. And that's it. It's time to transfer it now to the fermenter and take a sample for the original gravity reading. Let's go. Alright, so here's our wort already in the fermenter, and now I have a huge doubt. Should I take the gravity reading now or add the starter, which has dry malt extract, to the wort and then take the gravity reading? The thing is that this has yeast on it. I think that's gonna have an influence on the original gravity reading. But my logic, and pardon me if I'm wrong, my logic is that since this has got fermentables, we should add this to the wort and then take the gravity reading. In any case, if I made a mistake, please apologize. So let's pitch our yeast. Let me get you a better view. Alright, and here we go. So now I'll shake it and then I'll take a gravity reading. Okay, so here we are. I shaked it and I took a sample for the gravity reading. Here's a pick for you to see it clearer. And as you can see, it's 1068. Actually, a little bit more than 68. I would say 69. So that's gonna be a strong ale. Hopefully, we'll get to that 6.2 or close to that. So it's time now to put our airlock. What I always do is I drill a hole in the lid. This has been sanitized now with Star San. Sanitize the rest of the airlock. So now it's ready to be placed. And I'll see you tomorrow to give you some follow-up details. Cheers! Hey, hi, it's me again. I just wanted to share this moment of glory with you. I just tried this sample because I cannot, I can just pour it back into the fermenter. And normally people try this in order to know how good the beer will be. I tried it. I can tell you, we are close. This wort tastes really close to Broughton's 6.2 IPA. And I'm not making this up. I truly think it. You know, I'm hard with myself when it comes to evaluation. This is going to be really close to the original one. See you tomorrow. Cheers! And here we are next day. Good morning! There you have it. There's our soon-to-be great beer next to her sister, the citrus beer we brewed last week. There are a couple of things that really caught my attention about this one, and it's the color and the flavor of the wort. I mean, did you see that? It's got the orangey tone that I was looking for, and the flavor, I'm telling you, we are really close. We're really close. So, worst case scenario, really, is that we will end up with an amazing IPA. Best case scenario, we'll clone it. And those two factors, along with the use of the best yeast in the world, which is Mangrove Jacks, make me think that we are in the right direction. As usual, I'll make a taste test video of this one, and we'll give you my honest opinion on how close we are to the original. So it's time for me to say goodbye. Would you believe I'm feeling nostalgic? But I guess it's because I really enjoy doing this, and I'll be back. Season 2 is gonna be great. Anyway, before saying goodbye for now, there is a lot of people I want to thank, because even if it's only been a short time so far, a lot of people have helped me a lot. And without all of you, this wouldn't be possible. So first, I want to thank you, my subscribers. You are the reason why I created this channel. Your comments, your likes, and your shares really encourage me to do this better every day. Also, it's been great for me to know that some of you have brewed some of my recipes and some of you have actually liked them. So that's really much appreciated. Thank you, big thank you again. Second, my friends, you know who I'm talking about, especially the ones who enjoy beers, in particular my beers, and with whom I've had excellent times. I'm also referring to Lomas Lane Group, who have helped me to choose the perfect tune for the intro and outro. Third, the Facebook groups I belong to. Thank you guys for your quick, prompt, and always useful responses. Thank you. Fourth, the Homebrew Forum UK. You can find the link in the description below. This is a great forum. It's intended for homebrewers of any level, so I would definitely recommend you to subscribe to that forum. So far the experience I've had is only good. They have the greatest attitude. I always get super quick responses to any query I've made, and I've made some. Not only they have very useful information, they also have tools and software. And by the way, if you subscribe, you get Brewers Friends supporting membership program for 3 months, free of charge. How cool is that? Finally, but most important, I want to thank my family. Thank you for those clicks, for those likes, for those shares. You know they mean a lot to me, so thank you all. This is truly appreciated. In particular, I want to thank my wife. She's my community manager. So a big part of this whole project is only possible thanks to you. Cheers and thank you. And also thank you for allowing me to brew each week and for buying me beers for me to work and review on weekends. Is this love or what? Love you. One last comment I want to make is that even if this is the last homebrew video for the season, That doesn't mean that I won't be uploading more videos, because as you may imagine, we got some pending taste test videos. I gave you my word, and my word is my bond. I always comply with it. It is also my intention that every brew has a taste test video so that you can have a full view of the process and then the result. So I'll be posting these videos as soon as the beers are ready. So you can expect 5 more videos to come. This is mainly all I've had to say. If I'm forgetting someone, please apologize, you know my memory is not the best. But in any case, thank you. Thank you all, even the forgotten ones. If you like what you see, like, and don't forget to subscribe. And as usual, thanks for watching. Cheers on beers!